Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gents, for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be diving into our daily cryptocurrency market update. And right from the start, guys, stop FOMOing. Stop FOMOing into this market on the slight sign of positivity. And what I mean by positivity is really a price move to the upside. The people FOMOing in right now and calling for a bottom right now are completely gambling and have no confirmation or idea whether this is or is not the bottom. They're taking a punt, and my bias is that that punt is not going to be correct. In actual fact, this entire market is going lower. Something we've been talking about for a long time now. Yesterday, I retweeted a load of tweets because people don't believe me when I say I called for all this. This was a tweet from nearly 16 days ago. You could have saved yourselves a lot of heartache. We were looking, and the reason we start with this long-term regression bands for Bitcoin is because this is what I'm looking at for a macro picture. I'm looking for downside, and I'm looking for coming to the lower band of this regression bands, as you have done every single time. So far you've acted, and we pointed it out on this tweet. Look, guys, look what happened in 2018. Look what happened in 2014. Yes, I think the bear markets are different for a number of reasons. Fundamentally, they're hugely different. But the way that the market is acting is very similar. And eventually, they find their way to the lower band. And that's what we're looking at. And you've got people, and we'll drop down the time frames, discuss a number of altcoins, because I'm going to be looking to short the hell out of this market once this rally, I think, is done. On Sunday, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, mark it down, write it down somewhere. We've got Francis. We've already filmed the video coming back on the show. Francis is the market sniper, the crypto sniper, and the reset sniper. Somebody, in my opinion, who has one of the best understandings of not just the cryptocurrency market, but markets across the board. On Sunday, we're going to be releasing a video, and there is so much free alpha in that video. We talk about the direction, we talk about the macro landscape, the debt markets, the currency markets, everything, and how and we put it all together very nicely, or I should say Francis does. Watch out for that, guys, because that's going to be a huge one. But back to the video, you know, the market is pumping today. Pumping probably isn't the right word. Seeing some relief. I mean, some altcoins are doing fantastic. I think some altcoins are up like 50%. Let's take a look at Phantom. I think that was one that was up, or was up 50%. May not be. Decentraland, 55%. I don't even know where Phantom is, actually. Here it is. Phantom's up 50%. You know, you've got lots of coins doing extremely well on the back end of this sort of relief. But just to reconfirm my bias before we drop down the time frames, in my opinion, you're coming down to the lower section of this, like you have done previously. And then we can start looking at a bottom. And we've spoken about how you've got this huge gap from 30K all the way down to 20K. We're all going to come back into that, in my opinion, once this rally gets killed off. And the reason this rally gets killed off, and the reason that these guys are complete and utter idiots calling for a bottom and have no understanding of anything and shouldn't even be, you know, commenting on the subject, is because they just don't understand the macro. What has changed? Why are you FOMOing into a market that hasn't changed? Nothing has changed. Not one thing has changed on the macro picture. In actual fact, it's looking even more bleak when you talk about the Fed and what they're doing, and how we haven't even really seen the start of monetary tightening. You're going to FOMO into markets because what? The price has changed and your emotions have changed? Not how you guys want to be trading. There is going to be a bottom that will come. We're going to help you get to it. We've spoken about setting up a community of people who are willing to, you know, be stoic and play this game the right way. And you're going to get an amazing opportunity to accumulate altcoins and even Bitcoin if you fancy it at an extremely discounted rate. And I think discounted still from 30K. Nothing about this looks like a bottom. Nothing at all. And one thing to really watch, we'll take these off. But DXY is still killing it. We called for 108. I spoke to Francis yesterday. He's calling for an actual higher target. I think we've still got our target on here. One thing to watch today, being Friday, watch how your stock market opens and closes. Watch how your US equity market closes. They're seeing a little bit of a relief right now. But if you... Where's the NASDAQ? If you end up in a situation where this closes hard on the nose to the downside, get out. You know, it's not a good picture for crypto. FTSE's seeing a bit of uptick today. S&P futures are not really doing a lot. This is because it's on the 3-day here. That's why I'm thinking, what's going on? They're seeing a bit of an uptick. If we see some sort of positivity, crypto may see some further relief. But if the equity market for the US closes hard on the nose, more downside for crypto over the weekend, guys. Doesn't spell a good picture for it. And this is just the market that we're in, and we're dealing with it accordingly and reporting what we see happening. I think you're going to come back down to the lower bands here. The lower band is currently at around about 23k. Potential. You know, you have got, and what we'll do is we'll drop down the smaller time frames now, and then we'll wrap this video up, because I only really want this to be an update, and the main message is stop bloody FOMOing, guys, because it's just embarrassing at this point. You know, there was a time to be a dip buyer, and that was in 2021. And even actually, you could say up until this point here, you know, the market's clearly took a different direction. It's showing you where it wants to go. Jumping into every dip right now is not the play. That was the play in 2020 and 2021, not the play anymore. Let's drop down some time frames. Let's go 4 hours. We're looking for areas of significant support and resistance, and then we're also range to range trading. So this is not my main working off chart because it's just a mess. But this is why we've got the 26k and we've got your 23k, and then of course the big one, 20k targets that we're looking at. And 26k got hit. We saw a bounce off it. We drew all these lines in ages ago, and now you're making your way back up. If you come above this, hold above this 30k line, show that you are holding, and this isn't just a deviation, and you have rejected off a intraday trade. Then we can start talking about moving forwards and allowing these EMAs. I know people don't like EMAs to sort of creep up. And then I think the rejection comes and we see further downside. And I think that's going to be to the deafening tones of the macro backdrop, which essentially is looking like markets are in trouble. If the Federal Reserve, and this is what we're looking for to flip our bias right now, changes its monetary policy, which is not the play right now, there's been no indication that that is going to be what they do, then we can start looking at, okay, well, markets are going to probably go up again because monetary policy is accommodating. Right now, it's extremely regressive. And that's as simple as it is, guys. And you getting FOMO'd into a pump like this, why would you want to be gambling when the market is as volatile as it is? We need to see that volatility. Please watch out for Sunday's video with Francis, guys, because we'll talk about all of this in a lot more detail. And just Francis will talk about it. We need to see market volatility really reduce. And altcoins, of course, are seeing a huge benefit. I'm going to tell you right now, this is, by the way, those of you that don't believe me, it's all on my Twitter. See if we can find actually Rune. This is what we were looking at here. And we had a head and shoulders pattern here. That we were short from here. We added to our short here, and we added to our short here. Let's just take this one as a medium. Still, and at one point, you know, these are for some life-changing trades, and I don't recommend anybody trades a market, but I still think that, you know, my bias is that we see a rally. Sorry about that, guys. My bias is that we see a rally. Probably going to go and get Dequan. My bias is that we see a rally, and then it fizzles out. And talking about Luna, I mean, I don't even have the chart for Luna. I'll be interested just to see what it is actually trading at right now. Oh, wow. Not a pretty picture, and that might even be a generous one. Yeah, not a pretty picture across the board. But markets, I think, are going to rally until they don't, and then they get killed, and the macro backdrop and the deafening tones of it kind of come back and look for markets. And we are looking at probably potentially bouncing again somewhere around your 20k range, and then there are lower targets if needs be. But I'm hoping that this one stays strong. In fact, a 23k I could do it. That also fits in our narrative with the long-term regression bands. You can see 23k is also right around here, and then we will report accordingly. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, guys, because we give you free alpha daily, and we also try and keep you on the right path, you know, and try and also give you opportunity. I mean, AVAX, another great short. Looking for more downside. Room was a fantastic one. Luna, I mean, what a short. Unfortunately, we got out. It's 30 cents. Not 30 cents, sorry, $30. Didn't play that amazingly, but that's just life, I guess, guys. So that is really all I've got for you in this video. You can take a look at a few more altcoins. Like I say, the thing to watch today is the closing of the stock market. I'm not sure what that line's there for. But we've got the closing of the stock market. We've got head and shoulders targets that were given to us, obviously, by Francis. We didn't call them. He's been calling them before they'd even broken into a confirmed head and shoulders of, significant downside for the NASDAQ. If the NASDAQ goes that way, what way do you think crypto goes? And right now, let me just say this, it's looking likely that is going to be the probability for the equity market. What do you think happens to your crypto on the back end of a strong dollar? Because people are going to be running into dollars yet, seeing a bit of resistance today. I still can't get over all these jokers calling for the dollar to spill to the downside, because what they're calling for is they're looking at this and going, well, it's gone up quite a bit, so it must have to come down. Okay, well, why is it going up? Look at the euro, look at the yen, everything that we're trying to mention and help you guys out with. Let's take a quick look at total 2. This is what we were calling for. We were also calling for a head and shoulders on the total 2. And this here, I actually think there's more downside to come, to be quite honest. And I actually think you're still yet to make this death cross on the 3-day, which is what I'm looking at coming in the future. And I think there's going to be, by that time, there'll be, we'd have been further down than we currently are. At around about 719 on the 719 billion. Significant downside already, more to come. And that's what we're trying to stress. And that, you guys play this however you want. At the end of the day, I could be totally wrong here. We've been right so far. We don't get everything right at all. We got how 2021 was going to end wrong. I was expecting a blow off top. I was following the 4-year cycle theory. We got that wrong. We've adjusted accordingly, and we've switched our bias. And now this is the bias that we're working with, and we've had for a while, by the way. And in actual fact, if you were in my Discord, the free one, we actually did a group chat where I think only 20 people turned up, and we were saying, look at the yield curve, and we were looking at macroeconomics and saying, be very cautious right now, guys. And that was when Bitcoin was around about your 40, 50Ks, and there's people that can attest to that, I'm sure. So that's really all I've got for you guys. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated, so is a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.